It tastes like whiskey when you kiss me. I'd give anything again to be your baby doll. Yeah, this time I'm not leaving without you.
So you hit I'm Your Baby Tonight. It turns out to be your second time in the bottom 3 in 2 weeks of finals.
Haley, you are in the bottom 3 this evening.
You got the lipstick smudge incident.
Like that side, it's clean and just wipe the chin.
I think you actually won a lot of fans with the lipstick smudge incident. It was like, you just played it off well.
You just go with the flow, go with the flow.
You didn't take things so seriously. And you didn't take even being in the bottom 3. You brushed that seat off. It's like, hello, old friend. You know, I'm back here. But some people were like, she's not taking it seriously enough. She doesn't care enough about being...
You have to make things lighthearted. Otherwise, I mean, then it's too serious. I'm not going to sit up there and cry, and they all knew that. I don't know, when things embarrassing happen to me, for some reason, my first initial reaction is just to laugh about it.
It's my first red lipstick massacre.
Otherwise, it could be pretty devastating, I guess, you know? At least I let my mouth go with the flow.
I think the real turning point of the season, I don't know if you would agree, but I think you probably would.
This week, I'm going to be singing Benny and the Jets from Elton John.
Something happened that night, and I think it's amazing because on Idol, usually if you're in the bottom 3 early and you're not in it to win it, it's very hard to turn it around.
For me, it was a little boring, actually, if I'm being honest.
And I will admit, I was not on the Haley bandwagon prior to Benny and the Jets. I started thinking like, Blue, oh, that's kind of interesting. And then I was listening to You Really Got a Hold on Me on iTunes more than I thought I would.
Oh, I wanna split now. I cannot quit now. You really got a hold on me.
When Benny and the Jets happened, I was like, holy crap.
It seemed like all the themes were just falling more and more into place. You really got a hold on me. I mean, that was the first week that they actually did give me some credit, and they acknowledged my existence a little bit more.
This is exactly the kind of singer we always thought that you were, with a little Janis Joplin in you, and I'm just happy to see you return to that form.
So Benny was just kind of the reassurance, I feel like. First of all, Jim Johnson was my producer, and I've worked with him the most on the show probably, and it was great working with him. We talked through it, and I stuck to my guns with my vision.
What was your thought going in?
Not everybody sees a jazzy interlude. I just thought, you know, I would love to start this off slow, have the whole Baker Boys laying on the piano. I've always wanted to do the lounge act scene.
That's what you get, folks, for making whoopee.
Have that slow, jazzy feel.
Hey kids, shake it loose together. Spotlight's hitting something that's been known to change the weather. We'll kill the fatted calf tonight, so stick around.
And then go into the rocky feel.
Say, Connie and Ronnie, have you seen them yet? Whoa, but they're so spaced out. Benny and the Jets.
It's cool to just change vibes. And this song, in particular, nobody grabbed it. I'm like, Benny, I'm usually the one that doesn't go for the obvious songs, but nobody picked it. And then I remember telling my folks about it, and as I'm telling them about it, it comes on where they're at. Benny just starts playing, and I'm like, okay, I'm sold. I got to go through with what I wanted to do, and it, thankfully enough, it worked out.
Top 8 week, you performed Call Me, and I read a little bit that this was not necessarily the song that you had in mind for yourself. What would you have liked to sing that week? Had you had something else picked out?
It's funny, I went through a bunch of different ones. In the beginning, it was supposed to just be songs that were made for movies, and then slowly enough, people were creeping into songs in movies, so I was like, oh man, well, I didn't know that. I actually first picked Hopelessly Devoted from Grease.
Really?
Baby, can't you see? There's nothing else for me to do. I'm hopelessly devoted to you.
Because it's a movie song, and I sang it when I was younger, and maybe a couple talent thingies, and it's a beautiful song.
I'm out of my head, hopelessly devoted to you. Hopelessly devoted to you.
And I had a bluesy take on it. I changed it up. Barracuda, I wanted to do. I thought, you know, consecutively, I've been showing more of my rock side on the show, and that would have pretty much just fallen into place. I literally had a list full of songs, and it was more of just a room majority vote, and it's hard to say no, you know, especially when you just get all these opinions and you're thinking, okay, maybe, then this will be the crowd pleaser. And I really did have, whenever I have a gut feeling that they're going to tell me off about something or just not dig it, it's usually right.
It just wasn't a showcase for your voice for me. Songs
Think
that
about that
challenge
when you're choosing your song.
And I had a feeling about that one.
Song selection, it's everything, man. Everything.
I could have either gotten away with it as, oh, that was, you know, fun energy, like a lot of people got, you know.
Sometimes certain people could miss notes and be called emotionally perfect. Well, that's an interesting critique, you know. Meanwhile, we'll get to those critiques in a minute.
Uh-oh.
That week gave you one of your great moments on the stage, which was your duet of Moanin' on Results Night. Immediately after which, you were sent to the bottom 3.
Casey, you are safe.
And I'm not one to say I'm going to stop watching Idol, but I was like, I don't know if I can continue with this show. If Haley performed Moanin' and then goes home after that, I know it wasn't a voting performance, but I was having a hard time emotionally.
You know, first of all, I don't know if you want to know about this.
Let's talk about Moanin' first.
Yeah,
Let's get into it. How did that happen?
Okay, it's really cool, and I've wanted to tell people about it. First of all, we were going to do It Takes Two, baby.
Oh, no, please don't do that. Really? Why were you going to do
that?
that?
No, it was, you know, just the song choice.
Suggested.
And I said, how about Fever instead? And then they went for it. And Rachel Live, they can do anything. So we switched. We made the flip. And we were doing it on stage. And then after we go through it a couple times, and we're like, you know, all right, this is cool. And then Ray is over on the keys, and he just starts playing Moanin'. And I just started singing along.
'Cause every evening find me moaning.
And he's like, you know this tune? Like, what? And then we're just jamming.
I'm alone and crying in the blue. I'm so tired of paying those dues. Cares and woes have got me moaning.
And as this is happening, producers come up and they're like, you know, this is really cool. It's good. It's just, I think it's a little too smooth for the crowd. And as they're saying this, me and Ray are just looking at each other. And then we were just like, oh, well, we have this now. And then Casey, I'm like, Casey?
Because of all the trouble I see.
Life's a losing gamble to me.
Cares and woes have got me moaning.
Yeah, tell me about it, baby.
And it's funny because even early on in the mansion, we did it together. He didn't even know there was words to it, but he was playing it on keys.
He told me he played it on the melodica at his
yeah,
audition and that he didn't realize there were words to it.
Yes. And then I was like, yes, there are, and we should do this one day.
Oh, yeah?
Totally left our mind, and then it just so happened. I don't like to ignore signs when they come up, and him just going into it all of a sudden, you know, Ray, we just latched onto it like that, and kind of for the first time just were like, we really need to do this. We should do this.
Oh, you know what I'm talking about, girl.
We switched it last minute. There's so many last minute, but those are the best kind of things, you know?
It was magic, that performance. Did you know while you guys were singing it that this is a pretty great moment happening here?
Bottom 3, whatever. After that, I didn't care what happened.
Coming right back. I know for a fact, too. I love you,
Because getting to do Moanin', some Art Blakey on American Idol,
Right.
I feel like we've accomplished something great. There's nothing greater than that. I literally felt so good after it, just knowing that we did that. Didn't even matter.
They could have had the confetti come down right after that.
Yeah, they could have just crowned Casey, and I just would have been like, great. Thank you. I'm glad we did this.
A lot of times at the judges' table, they'll be like, you've got to pick something more familiar. You've got to do something people know. And I sometimes think the left field choices that open your ears to something new are often the most exciting.
I agree completely with you, and I just feel that you shouldn't be restrained and feel like you have to do what's in. I'm glad that I got to push at least sometimes to do those kind of things like Zeppelin and whatnot, those types of songs that I stuck my ground with it, and I'm very happy to have done that.
Hi, baby.
Wait, hey baby means something negative is coming. Surely she's not going to get a negative critique for that.